Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're gonna be talking a little bit about what to expect or what you should know, or maybe some things to think about before relocating to the Ozarks. Let's check it out. All right, hey guys, my name is Scott, and if it's your first time visiting the channel, welcome, thank you. And while you're here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell, because every week I'm putting out a new video telling you everything you should know about moving to or living in Lake of the Ozarks. We're also a group of licensed lenders and agents, so I love making these videos, but I would love more to help you with your lending or real estate needs. So that number popping up below, I am the guy that'll answer the phone calls, the text messages, and the emails. If there's a question, a scenario, or just anything I can do, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. In the meantime, we wanted to jump on and talk a little bit about what to expect or what you should know, or again, just some things to think about before relocating to the Ozarks. Had a lot of conversations recently. Shout out to Rick from last week from Oklahoma City and Crested Butte, Colorado, who gave me advice on relax, ease up, don't be so scripted. So I super appreciate that, Rick, and there's your shout out. But again, we wanted to talk a little bit about what to expect when relocating to the Ozarks. And, you know, I think first things first is understanding where we are in the country. And so we're gonna pull up a map of Missouri. When you look at the map, you can see Kansas City, St. Louis, go to the middle, go down, that's where you're gonna find the lake. Now, I think that's one of the first things to understand and recognize and realize that this is a Ozark mountain area, okay? And so you are going to have very hilly, curvy, steep gravel roads. And if that's something that you're not used to, then that's gonna be something to think about, right? Because a lot of folks that we talk to, they might be coming from metropolitan areas, right? Big cities that are laid out in a perfectly gridded formation that are nice and flat. And then you come down to the Ozarks and all of a sudden it's hills everywhere and it's steep curves and you're driving through the forest and you don't know where you're going and you're trying to look at your phone, but if you look up, there's a curve, right? So you got to be super careful when you're coming down here to make sure you know and understand what the roadways are like. It's not going to be flat surfaces, well laid out. It's going to be wonky and confusing, especially at night. You got to be very careful. There's a lot of wildlife, right? So again, you are driving in the mountains, you are driving in nature, which means there's a lot of deer that'll run out. There's a lot of critters that'll go out in the middle of the road. So things to think about, things to consider, what you should know and what you should expect when you come down is understanding what it's like to just drive around the lake, right? It's not an easy place to get around, and you gotta be very cautious of the terrain that you're on. And so understand that, or maybe make a trip, rent a car, come hang out, fly in, borrow my car, don't care, but definitely want to check out the terrain before committing to a full relocation. Another thing when you comes to just the location of where we are is going to be the weather. And I think depending on where you're at in the country, weather here is going to have all four seasons, okay? So you're going to have your summer, your fall, your winter, your spring. But I talk to a lot of people who feel like the winters here are harsh, or they ask that question all the time. What are the winters like? And you got to understand that the winters here are mild compared to Wisconsin, Illinois, Colorado, the northern states, right? So on average, the Ozarks gets like 8 inches of snow a year. Now you got to be careful because of that. There's not a lot of snow plows or trucks that are going to come by. They're certainly probably not going to be down your neighborhood or on the side streets. All of these driveways around here are super steep, so clearly you're going to have to manage your own driveway. But the winter times are not as bad as you might think. And what you'll probably have is that Midwestern kind of winter where it's going to be overcast and cloudy, and you are on a big body of lake, so you are going to have wind, and that'll be a component, but you're not going to have sub-freezing temperatures all the time, and the lake doesn't freeze, and so you're going to have more of a mild winter, which means it's shorter, right? You'll have a shorter winter compared to those northern states, but you'll have a longer spring, a longer fall, and for sure a longer summer. So the fall is great because the leaves will change colors. They'll start to fall off the trees, but it's very picturesque in the fall, right? It's a lot of colors because all of that forest is now changing into oranges and yellows and reds, and it's super cool. And then obviously you get in the wintertime, it is what it is. But then spring rolls around and everything gets bloomed back out, and you have an amazing spring, which obviously rolls into the summertime, which is why everybody loves to be down here. You have long summers, a lot of humidity. So if that's something that you're not used to, then humidity is going to be a thing to think about or consider. But ultimately, when you're hot and it's humid, go jump in the lake, right? No big deal. So understanding that the weather down here is not as harsh in the winters as you might think, but you're going to have longer falls, longer springs, and a longer summer. Some other things to think about and consider are going to be job opportunities. And so a lot of folks that are relocating, hopefully you have jobs established. So, a lot of people work from home. If you are working from home, we got to make sure that you have a great Wi-Fi connection. But if you're trying to relocate and you're trying to find employment, then that's something to think about and consider, right? The hospitality business is huge down here, but it's also can be seasonal, right? So Memorial Day to Labor Day is the peak season. And a lot of times those tourist destinations will shut down in the wintertime, right? There's just not enough traffic. And so maybe that's something, or labor work, if that's what you're doing. But employment is definitely something to think about and consider. And again, if you are working from home, we need to make sure that you have a great Wi-Fi signal in order to do your job. The other piece of it is, retirement. This is a great area to retire. And so a lot of folks in their later stages of life and they're done with employment, a great opportunity to come down through retirement. And obviously with that, you don't have to worry about any type of employment. But if you're relocating and you have a family, then schools are another thing to think about and consider. You have the Osage School District, which is K through 12. You have the Camdenton area, which is K through 12. There's some charter schools and private schools and a lot of preschools around town as well. But understanding which school district might be best fit for you is obviously going to lay out to which area of the lake that you want to be in, right? It's a big lake and there's an east and a west side, and traveling around it can be challenging at times. And so making sure that if your kiddos are in school and you're responsible to get them to school, then we want to make sure they're one, in the right school district, and two, the location of the home is conducive to dropping them off on a daily basis. So now that we've talked a little bit about, the weather, the location, the roads, we have job opportunities and schools that you need to look at. We're all doing that with the same expectations for cost of living. We talk about it all the time on this channel that the Ozarks is just below the national average when it comes to living and expenses, and whether it's food or groceries and retail stuff or fuel, medical things, it's below the national average. And of course that's going to be the same thing when it comes to your homes and your values and your prices. And so a lot of people that are looking to get out of those metropolitan areas and have a different lifestyle and get into nature and be maybe lake lifestyle. The cool part is that you can do it well below the national average. You can do it in an affordable manner. A lot of people we talk to are looking again to retire down here, and so to be able to sell your property, cash out, and still be able to afford a property and to live, I think is super unique. And again, if you're looking for that lakefront lifestyle, to have a lake out back, to have the dock, the pontoon, the boat, whatever it is that you're looking for, there's not too many places that you're able to do it with the freedom that you're able to do it here in the Ozarks. Expect that when you're looking at, again, relocating or shopping. Again, we would love to help you with a lot of that stuff. And outside of the location of where we are, the roadways, the weather, the schools, the jobs, the affordability, I think the last thing to think about or expect or understand is going to be the bugs. And I talk about it all the time, right? That again, you are in nature, you are in the forest, you're in the woods, and so you're going to have bugs, you're going to have spiders and June bugs and all sorts of creepies and crawlies and all that kind of stuff. I only bring it up because my wife always busts me up about it. My kiddos are always freaking out about it. I don't have a big deal because the lake and the lifestyle offsets any type of bug. But if you got a bug phobia or there's something there, you might want to think about it, consider it. Come down in the summertime and check it out. Clearly there's not a lot of bugs around in the wintertime, spring or fall, but in the summertime, man, they can be out and about. So some things to think about. some things to expect, some things to research before you make the trip, right? And again, we're here to help, right? I say it all the time. We're licensed lenders, we're licensed agents. The videos are great, but the conversations and helping you find that next property is obviously what we enjoy the most and what we love doing. So one more time, that number popping up below, I am the guy that'll answer the phone calls, the text messages, and the emails. If you have more questions about what to expect or the area, pros, cons, or you want us to set you up on a home search for that future property, of course, reach out, let us know what we can do. And until then, we'll see you on the next video. Bye. Before relocating to the Ozarks, man, that sun came in hot. Try it one more time. You know, the fall time is great because the leaves will change colors. It'll become something to expect, right? I gotta wrap it up better with that shit, man.